Hey there, folks on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm here with another spotlight to highlight Devan Bailey. And just for those of you who don't know me, I'm an executive health coach. And for the last decade or so, I've been on a mission. I've been on a mission to champion for clients to advocate and guide their health turnarounds, lose up to 100 pounds of body fat, master master their mindset around uncertainty, stress, and to build more confidence and to reclaim a new vision of oneself. And I do this through neurolinguistic programming, a psychological framework to retrain your subconscious beliefs and patterns and emotional associations. And I am hosting this live webcast series called the Unbreakable in Your Next Chapter Summit that's happening right now on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're halfway through. We have 2 more episodes that are free for you to join. And this summit has been created with 13 panelists who are coaches, guides, doctors, emotional grief experts, love experts, to really respond to how communities in the world and in our own backyards and homes have come out of an unprecedented time in history. And so I felt passionate to call upon my really well respected friends and practitioners to share a message of hope and to give you a call of action to get out of disempowered and get into empowered positions, get out of fear and move into fearlessness, get out of trust and go approach the world with trust again. And this is what the Unbreakable in Your Next Chapter is about. If you haven't signed up, sign up for free. The link is in the description here. It's also going across the banner on the bottom of the screen. And so just wanted to welcome Devan, and we will begin. And I wanted to spotlight Devan because he's going to be on our last episode, on episode 4, called Rising Out of Scarcity and Moving into Prosperity. And we know that during these post-pandemic times, people have worries and concerns about money or not having enough. And that panel is really going to be addressing money and worth issues, self-worth and self-love, and what you could do to take your power back in the next chapter. So welcome, Devan. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So a little bit about Devan. Let me just tell you guys. Devan is an author, speaker, entrepreneur, and founder of Devan Bailey Coaching, a training company to help individuals and corporations to harness the power of human potential and performance. He helps stressed out professionals take control of their lives and exponentially increase their happiness and effectiveness at work while designing a life that provides meaning and enjoying the journey. So, using his principles, he teaches. He went from being an international businessman with burnout, and we'll talk a little bit about that, enduring a nervous breakdown in the midst of his career, and arriving at a happy, fulfilled person running his own business. So again, welcome, Devan. And anything you want to say before I begin, just with more of the questions and the dialogue with you here?
No, honestly, I just want to honor you, actually, Tina, for doing what you're doing. I hope your listeners and your followers understand how much love, energy, and effort goes into running something like this. So actually, you know what? For a second, let's not make it about me. Let's make it about you and just say thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, and I'm so honored that you're going to be on our last panel. Devan was on our panel in 2019 when the pre-pandemic, when we were in lockdown mode. I ran a summit, basically popped it up, asked my friends to join, and we did it in response to the extreme anxiety and fear that was happening during lockdown. That was 3 years ago. Can you believe that, Devan?
Where's the time gone? Seriously.
I know, seriously. And so what is happening today is some of those resonating feelings have evolved and changed, and we're still living with some of those fears and an anxiety, and now we're faced with feelings of uncertainty. And so, really, what Unbreakable in your next chapter means is taking your power back and really arriving at a place where you feel certain about your next steps and feel more at ease and in flow, with some tools on hand. So tell us, Devin. So, like, tell everybody how you got into coaching after working for a big four company. Like, how difficult was it? There's people on LinkedIn listening to this, or sitting in their offices or their home offices, dredging away in their jobs. Maybe they don't want to be in their office because after pandemic times they had to go back to the office. How difficult was it to actually take the leap to leave? And what were some of the decisions you were weighing as you made that jump? And what was the most important thing that motivated you?
Well, the first answer is kind of a silly answer, but it's funny,
Mhm.
which is that for anyone who's questioning whether they have what it takes to coach or do something in that kind of industry, having a young daughter as I do, I can tell you for sure that we start coaching from a very young age, because she is coaching me to get what she wants from
Mm.
the time she's only a few months old. So I think all of us have it within us to coach, guide, support, love, help people around us. I think all of us have what I call the urge to be of service. I don't care who you are, where you are. When you see someone struggling to go up or down the stairs to the subway, there's part of you that just wants to lean in and help. I think that's in all of us. So I
Mhm.
don't think it's a surprise that many
Mhm.
of us turn to some kind of area of service. I think
Mhm.
the bigger challenge, and maybe the more sensible answer, is, well, when you've spent 15 years in a corporate environment, in a structured environment, in a, let's call it, safe
Mhm.
environment, what does it take to leave that and do something different? And for me, honestly, it took, I would say, 3 years to
Mhm.
build up to the point of doing something different.
Mhm.
And actually, at the point that I left my career to
Mhm.
start doing this full time, was actually the point where I was loving my job and was actually doing better than I'd ever done before, being more impactful because of everything I'd learned about, the
Mhm.
manual of a human being, as I call it. And it was, this is going to sound really cheesy, it was a calling. When you feel this need, this desire, this kind of drawing to do something, that's not that, you don't say no to that. You
Mhm.
don't, you can't turn your back on that. So for me, it wasn't a question of whether or not I would jump. It was
Mhm.
more what I needed to do to make sure I could jump relatively safely, if
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Okay, and basically during that time you were kind of working really hard. I mean, working for a big four consulting company is very demanding. And a
Yeah.
lot of people are working these demanding jobs. People, the companies are expecting more of them. You were on a verge, or you went through a nervous breakdown, right? So can you share that with us a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. And that experience, what's funny? I don't know what to refer to it as. I don't love that term, although the term you used is the term I use, because I think everyone has different moments of concern, worry, panic, fear, whatever in their lives. All I can say is that I wouldn't wish this experience on my worst enemy. And it was personal. What I experienced was unique to me. But I was found in the stairwell of my offices, and I was in a vegetative state for about 24 hours.
Mm.
So I don't know where that puts it on the spectrum of experiences, but it was certainly a real physiological response to psychological pain.
Yeah.
And the hardest part of it was actually the best part of it, which was the realization that, honestly, Tina, it had nothing to do with my company, the people I worked for and with, the job I was doing. It
Mhm.
honestly was not their fault. It was me. My wiring was off.
Mm.
I am what I call a recovering overachiever.
Mm,
fueled only for many, many years by people's praise and the ability to demonstrate success and climb the ladder quicker and earn more money and become more prestigious. And I think all the while, the feeling of success that you want to experience is tied to something out there.
mm,
Inherently, you're in trouble. You
mm,
know, there's always going to be someone fitter, faster, stronger, taller, prettier, wealthier, better than you. So
mm,
if that's your measure of success, at some point,
mm,
it's going to come crumbling down. And for me, that happened, as I say, in the stairwell of my offices. And
mm,
the key for me at that point was, well, if I want my life to change, I have to change.
mm,
And that was the turning point. It was in a strange way, it was ultimately taking responsibility for what was happening
mm.
rather than pointing at everyone and everything around me and blaming them for it not being the way I wanted it to be.
Right. And basically, especially during the last 3 years, you know, it's been a painful wake up call. I mean, a lot of people's priorities and the way we live have forever changed, right?
Yeah.
So, some people don't even know where to begin. And because things have become so upside down and backwards during these times, and we're constantly being challenged with so many things that are changing in the world around us. And yeah, so I've been there in corporate, and also I can relate to that. But we're, in that mindset, in that conditioning or that structure, you're constantly chasing, right? You're
Yeah.
constantly chasing the next,
Yeah.
that next position, the next job, the next this, and the next raise, and there's this chasing that happens. And what I've learned as a coach is, and after 10 years of taking care of my dad who had stage 4 cancer, that's really where the light bulb hit turned on for me. Is there's such a fine line between life and death,
Mm,
and we can look at life and death so differently, right? And it's so fragile, that line.
mm,
Death it doesn't show up necessarily in just like a loss of life, but death meaning really loss of joy, loss of pleasure, a loss of hope. And our environment has such a huge part of that,
mm.
in how, and not just on our environment, but really our mindset. So when we look at things differently, they do begin to change, and this is what this is all about, and that's what we do as coaches. Is I always say to my clients, I'm an active observer of your life, and I'm gonna
Mm.
give you an objective point of view of what's happening in terms of the patterns of how you do things and how you make choices. And when people don't even realize what's happening, they just kind of plow through. That's
Yeah.
they become really conditioned to their environment, and we're adaptable human beings, right?
Yeah. I call it hypnotic rhythm.
Mm,
And I think I was in that state in fact, I know I was in that state for many, many years. And I would describe that as being a survival state rather than really living.
mm,
The funny thing is, I can honestly say now, being outside on my own, doing this amazing, weird, and wonderful journey I'm on, I can honestly say I've never actually had more uncertainty, more challenges, more problems, more issues I don't know how to resolve, more personal, mental, emotional, physical development. I've never, it's my life's never been harder, and
mm,
yet I've never felt more alive. And
true.
it's such a contrast from where I was previously. And I honestly, truly believe that the difference is that I now, 99% of the time, I'm human, I slip.
Mhm,
I now direct my thinking and my attention and
mm,
determine how I choose to feel rather than allowing everyone and everything around me to dictate it. That's
right.
the difference. I realized I had it backwards. I thought I could feel successful when I made partner or whatever. I could feel safe and secure when I had however many million dollars in the bank. I could feel good about myself if I looked like Wolverine.
Mhm,
Everything that I wanted to feel was dependent upon an external circumstance. And by definition,
mm,
you're not going to get there. And
right.
it's not. And what the twisted irony is that now that I measure things differently based on who I am, how I show up, what I give, what I do, how much I grow, ironically, I'm much, much closer to all the things I actually wanted.
That's amazing. Yeah. So really, the Unbreakable Health Summit in your next chapter is an invitation. It's an invitation to begin again. And right now, this moment in time in history of your life and the people around us in our communities and around the world, we have an opportunity to take back our health as a new journey of physical, mental, and emotional resilience during with incredibly challenging times. And we're coming out of this time out of physical, mental, and emotional dysregulation. We know this as a health coach. I experience this with my clients. I work with clients who are driven to severe states of anxiety and disempowerment. And this is truly a collective experience at the Unbreakable Health Summit to really begin again. So tell us, Devan, I love this. Your story is so remarkable, and I'm so excited that you're going to be on the panel on August 1st, Monday, August 1st. At 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're going to be on with Brad Dalton, who is also an author of a book called DNA of a Winner.
Yep.
And by the way, folks, Devan has an amazing book called Shaping Realities. It's amazing. Actually, 95% of the panelists are all published authors, and they have incredible books. And we're giving away books for people who show up live, which is awesome. And that interaction time is incredible because it gives you the opportunity to really ask and interact with Devan and the other panelists during the episode, during the actual live experience. And where else can you get that in terms of, thousands of dollars of coaching right there, right in front of you? That's incredible value. And maybe through that time, you're going to have a mindset shift. And that's what we're hoping for. So, Devan, tell everybody, what does Unbreakable mean for you? And what should it mean for people during these challenging times of rising out of scarcity? How can we become unbreakable when it comes to thinking about scarcity or not having enough?
I think it starts with you. I think it's when you can say that you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself, and that you're no longer pushed and pulled around by those fear-based thoughts. They're there. You observe them. It's an inner knowing. You know that you are so much more. You are so much bigger than your problems, and nothing is permanent. As a result, those things that used to bother you and shake you and frustrate you no longer do, and drama doesn't touch you anymore. You're aware of it, you respect it, you take action to make things the way you want them to be, but it doesn't shake you because you realize that your core actually can't be shaken. That's what Unbreakable means to me.
I love that. I love that. Yes, it is a journey back to yourself, and it's redefining the drivers that motivate you and being absolutely clear about what motivates you, what drives you, and really understanding yourself. And so I love that. That is so absolutely true. That journey back to yourself is the most important journey, especially at this pivotal time in history. So I'm super excited. Anything else you want to share or you want to tell our audience in terms of joining us on August 1st with you? And actually July 25th is the next episode called Emotional Resiliency. And I have a love coach, I have a grief counselor coach, and an energetic healer that's joining us Monday, July 25th, live on that panel. And then Devan will be on with Brad Dalton, author of DNA of a Winner, and also Dr. Kelly Shu, who is a money and worth coach. So anything else you want to mention to invite people along to join you?
Yeah, I would say another cheesy phrase. I love this. I use it all the time. And that is 80% of success is merely showing up. So I would say to anyone who's questioning whether or not they can carve out the time, or if they want to, or if they understand this stuff, just show up. Just be there. I promise you, you'll hear, even if it's one sentence that gives you a shift in your mindset. I promise you, if you start rubbing shoulders with people who think differently and act differently, it will rub off on you and it will make a difference. So invest in yourself and just be there.
Yeah, and it's absolutely free. Absolutely free. So the registration link is on the description here. If not, we can add it, but it's also scrolling across the screen right now. If you haven't registered, jump in right now. There's really no obligation. It's just a gift for you. And the gift keeps on giving. And it's an incredible, insightful time and experience that we all want to share with you. And we want to help you, have clear action around your next steps in your next best chapter beyond COVID. So I'm super excited, Devin. I can't wait for
Me too.
August 1st, but please join us this coming Monday. The last two episodes are potent medicine. So we look forward to seeing you. Thank you, Devin, for joining me, and thank you for your time. And I'm super excited to see you on the panel.
I'll see you all very soon.
Okay, we'll see you guys soon. Look forward to seeing you at the Unbreakable Health Summit. See you soon.